Listen up, this is the BMW M5 CS, and it's the quickest and most powerful production car BMW has ever made. And in this video, I'm going to try and figure out if it's anything special. Ah yes, the BMW M5, one of the OG super sedans, if not the OG. When BMW debuted the M5 in 1984, I wonder if they knew it would create this massive fascination for a super sporty, ultra versatile, do-it-all car. A car that would have them and fellow German manufacturers pushing the envelope and delving into the pursuit of slicing the line so thin on a sedan, it's almost more of a sports car. Well, I don't know if BMW was onto something, but I think that thin line can be represented by the BMW M5 CS. So the M5 CS is a special edition car, and oftentimes that's abused as a marketing gimmick, but not in this car. The engine produces 627 horsepower and 553 pounds-feet of torque, which is up 10 horsepower compared to the M5 competition. And speaking of the M5 comp, and probably most notable, the CS weighs 230 pounds less, which is absolutely amazing because you rarely ever see manufacturers make a car faster by cutting its curb weight. All of that translates to a 0 to 60 time of 2.9 seconds, and you have beefy 6-piston carbon ceramic brakes to stop all of that power. The suspension's been upgraded too. You have stiffer engine mounts, springs, negative camber, and uniquely tuned dampers. It's very refreshing to see a manufacturer like BMW putting in effort to mechanically upgrade a car for its special edition. And it's not just the mechanics either, because BMW has done a great job of making a rather boring car look exciting. My general thought on this generation of the 5 Series is that it's kinda dull and too simple, lacking a lot of flair. But as usual, BMW M did fix that a little with the M5, but even then, I thought the AMG looked a little better. But the minor tweaks in this CS version, from the carbon fiber hood, mirror caps, front splitter, rear diffuser, and the yellow DRLs, which I love the look of, plus the unique gold wheels, just give this otherwise pedestrian M5 that flair it was missing. But is there a flaw with the M5 CS? So the interior of the M5 CS remains mostly the same as what you'll see in the M5 Comp and the regular M5. The interior quality is good. The technology with the big gauge cluster in front of you and the 12.3-inch screen are wonderful. And this version of iDrive is actually what I prefer compared to what BMW is doing in the new widescreen. But the biggest change in the M5 CS with relation to the interior are the seats. Now these are carbon bucket seats and they're extremely cool to look at. However, the new M4 I drove also had these seats, and they're not my preference for a couple reasons. First being that they're difficult to get in and out of because of the extremely high thigh support and this center section here in carbon fiber. And secondly, they're just not as comfortable as what you would get in the regular M5. Now, not only is the driver's seat a carbon bucket seat, but so is everybody else's. Now, as a result, everybody else gets to sit in this stiffer seat, and the M5 CS only has a seating capacity of 4. Now, I'm not opposed to having a hardcore seat in the most hardcore M5, but being that this is a sedan and that people buy these type of cars and still drive them on a daily basis, maybe it might have been a good idea to offer the regular seats in the M5 CS. So let's put the seats aside for a second and see what this M5 CS feels like behind the wheel. Foot on the brakes, start stop here in red. Exhaust sounds really nice in the M5 CS. Let's go ahead and put the seatbelt on and go for a quick drive. Release parking brake. Now, I've already driven the M5 competition, so I'm going to be judging this car with that in mind. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the go fast modes immediately. And granted, my drive is going to be a little shorter than normal because this car is low on miles, and I want to keep it that way because I anticipate the person who wants to buy it might make it a collectible and just store it. So, but I'll try and get the best I can as far as its feel goes. Transmission in the fastest setting, manual shift mode, and let's see what the CS is all about. Oh wow. Oh geez, like a freight train. Oh, the brakes are super strong. Second gear. What? Oh my God, sedan? Jeez, holy crap. Wow. Monstrously fast car. Oh my God. Wow, this is gut-wrenchingly fast. Almost making me lightheaded at the moment. But more to come on that here in just a second. But this car is excruciatingly fast. Compared to an M5 competition, not that the M5 competition is slow, that in and of itself is an unbelievably fast car. This feels just a tick faster, and I think that's what this car is anyway. It's not up on horsepower that much, obviously only 10, but it feels just remarkably quick. So from a speed standpoint, there's no questions about this car. Next, let's talk about the steering and the feel. So the thing that surprised me a lot about this car is the overall compliance and how relatively nice it is to drive. I was expecting something to be extremely heavy, extremely stiff and almost undrivable on a daily basis, but I could still see somebody, as long as you stay in the efficient mode and comfort mode in the suspension, totally being able to drive this on a daily basis. Now, one of the other things that's extremely impressive about this thing is the overall steering weight. And what I mean by that is you've got two settings, so comfort and sport, and comfort mode is totally appropriate for daily driving. But typically when you put steering feedback in sport mode, it gets too weighted and heavy and almost unnatural, artificial, but I don't find it to be that way in the M5 CS. I find it to be just the right amount of weight and appropriate for a car like this. Now, as far as feel goes, it is somewhat lacking in that arena, and that's not surprising because most modern BMWs are lacking in feel, but it's not too bad. It's a little more heightened in this car compared to the regular compact. Now, the other things, the brake is extremely sensitive. The first time I got this thing, I almost braked myself out of my seat because of how much braking power there is right at the top of the pedal. And overall, the braking power and the amount of braking capability in this car is extremely high. The other thing, transmission. It is very quick and nice, but I do wish, given that this is the CS and just overall from the M brand, they're moving to automatics, I wish that it had a double clutch because it would add to the fun factor of this car, and just the overall crispness of a DCT is on a different level. Overall, the one thing that really sticks out to me about this car, of course, in my short drive here and in this city driving setting, I'm sure if I was to be able to drive it in a more performance-oriented fashion, like in a canyon or on a track, there are additional benefits and highlights to the CS package, especially that weight that you'll probably see more on a track. But in a city driving setting and probably on a day-to-day basis, the straight line speed is just absolutely ludicrous. There are very few cars, mainly electric cars, that when I mash the gas, they make me feel lightheaded. And the first time I drove this car, it definitely made me feel that way. So it's a blisteringly fast car in a straight line. So that's the BMW M5 CS. It's as special can get in a sedan by today's standards. And what I mean by that is we live in an era where the midsize sedan is basically the least popular and most boring car on the planet. The manual transmissions are gone, all the exciting designs are gone. And to add insult to injury are the rise of EV cars. But in between all of that, BMW has somehow managed to build a car that's somewhat exciting, that not only looks good, but also has unique characteristics that you rarely ever see in sedans nowadays. So yeah, I think the BMW M5 CS is pretty special. So that's all I've got. If you've got any questions, please make sure you leave me a comment down below or send me a message on Instagram @DriveSteady. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video. Until next time, drive steady.